Are you trying to get yourselves a pair of Air Force Ones for cheap right now, but don't know if they're real or not? Well, don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to spot a fake pair of Air Force Ones. Hey everybody, I'm Massimo, and welcome back to the only channel on YouTube that covers in-depth videos of cars, fashion, and lifestyle, the Show Me channel. And today, we're going to be going over yet another tutorial. You guys absolutely kill it when I do these videos, so thank you very much. And I figured might as well continue with Air Force Ones because I see them trending a little bit now. Not as much as Asics or Jordan 4s right now, but the Air Force One, still up there. It's still up there. So you guys probably want to know how to spot a fake one. So before we get into it, be sure to like and share for that YouTube algorithm, as well as subscribe. Any support would just be awesome. Now let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing you can do without even seeing the shoe is actually check out the box. And what you're going to check out is right here with the info label. So the main culprits that will give it away is the font, with the font spacing, the font sizing, and the font placement. So right now you can pause this video right now to compare it to yours. And here's a photo example of what I'm on about. So never forget, with real Nike boxes, the fonts tend to be really nice and thin and with sharp text. I mean, really crisp text on the box. As you can see, the fake one is a little bit too bold. And also a big giveaway if it comes already faded and scratched up and they label it as brand new. Yeah, big time red flag right there. Now let's crack open this box and actually show off the Air Force Ones. And here they are. The first thing I'm gonna do is just do a quick quality check, you know, get it in hand, make sure it has that nice Air Force One weight to it. Check the quality of the leather, kind of feel it out, make sure that's all nice. And Air Force Ones do tend to have pretty good leather quality, so if you do give it a feel and it's just all mushy and too thin, good sign that it's a fake. Also, you're going to want to check the stitching real quick. This is also done pretty sharp on Air Force Ones, so you just want to go check the lining of the stitching, making sure it's nice, crisp, nothing out of place or zigzaggy, that kind of stuff. But most of those shoes will kind of pass these tests now. So what's really going to come down is the details. So first off, we're going to check out the swoosh. So, and most importantly, the curvature of the swoosh. You know, it's going to have a nice flowing natural curve. No spikes, no crispness and everything, and no sharp angles. Here's an example of what you're going to be looking at for real versus fake. As you can tell, the fake one just doesn't curve as nice. It has a little bit of a sharp point to it. And also where they'll mess up is actually right here to the back. They'll actually would get it pushed up a little bit too. So you can kind of see right there in the fake one that it's a little bit thicker towards the end. All right, the next thing you want to check is these two side holes right here. Oftentimes they're going to mess up the placement of these side holes. So it'll be too far up, close to the swoosh logo, or too far down, closer to the midsole. Here's a good example of what you're going to be looking for. Once again, as you can see, the holes are just printed too far down. Another thing you want to check is actually the midsole itself. I see this a lot on fakes, and I've been able to spot them out perfectly. Sometimes just at first glance, is make sure that the portion that connects really the midsole to the uppers is all done nice and crisp. It's not like misaligned or anything like that. Sometimes I'll see it like too thick or not crisp around this area as well, like it'll be very jagged, that kind of stuff. And this is what I'm talking about, real versus fake. As you can see, actually they messed up the toe box right there on those fakes ones. It's a little bit too thick and a little bit too chunky. It's not as like nice and sharp as the real ones are. Looks almost a little bit overbuilt and exaggerated. Alrighty, next thing you want to check is also the perforations. You want to make sure all the little holes on the toe box are really nice and crisp and well done. Fake ones, they'll kind of mess up on the sizing, so the holes will be too thin or too big even, and the quality will be inconsistent because the way they cut them out will be different. So here's a good example right there of real versus fake. As you can see, the fake pairs are just way too inconsistent with the holes, especially with the sizing, and just really isn't that defined in the cutting. All right, the next thing you want to check is the heel, and once again you want to check for all the logos that are on the heel. So fake pairs, the swoosh will kind of be too long or too short, and also the placement will be too far to the left, too far to the right, up, down, everywhere. That's one thing you want to check a lot, is just the placement. And also all these letters right here, check for the font sizing, spacing, and placement. Once again, make sure it's not misaligned. Check the stitching, of course. There's a lot of stitching right here that they can very easily mess up, all that stuff. So here's a good example of real versus fake. As you can tell, the swoosh logo is just too long and too thin a little bit. The air, I mean, it's all kind of messed up, man. I mean, the R is just screwed up a lot. It looks like it's compressed. And most importantly, the stitching. God, the stitching is just all kinds of messed up too out there. I mean, from the midsole, it just looks like it was very lazy. And also when they stitched this portion right here, they stitched a little bit too hard. And you can kind of see it'll create a little bit of like a bend. Alrighty, then the last thing you're going to want to check is inside the sneaker. Right there is the sizing tag. A little hard to see on camera, but I'm just going to go ahead and just show you the photo. The same usual suspects as always: the size spacing, font sizing, and the font placement. And also just make sure they even printed off all the right letters and stuff to begin with, like they don't have any like random numbers or something. But yeah, as you can see, the fake pair is just a little too thin with the VF and the BRs and stuff, and not just simply not as well printed. And then yeah, that's going to be really the main things to spotting a fake Air Force One. This next thing is just my kind of preference and experiences. The first thing you're going to want to check is the smell. So if you have a brand new real pair on hand and you're checking this one, just give it a good whiff and smell the shoe and stuff. Because if you smell the shoe and it smells a little bit off, not like the real pairs are, it could be a sign that it was made in a different factory, which obviously could be a fake. And then you want to check out the seller. Ask the seller a whole bunch of questions like, why are you selling the sneaker? Where'd you get the sneaker? And do you have any proof of purchase? You know, get a feel for them. Trying to see if you can tell their line. If you see any inconsistencies in the story, that could be a really good sign that they're, trying to lie to you. And we wouldn't want that. We want our Air Forces to at least be real. We want to get a good deal here. Then yeah, I think that's all you're going to really need to spotting a fake pair of Air Force One. What do you guys think about it? Comment down below your opinion, like and share for that YouTube algorithm, and last but certainly not least, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.